Hey, I'm Juan Esteban Garcia, and in this video I'm going to show you how to download a media file that you receive using the WhatsApp API. So basically, whenever you receive an image or an audio file or a document or a sticker or any other attachments, you have to use the media API to download this file, and I'm going to show you in this video how to do it. Let's get started. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. If you remember, in the webhooks video, in case you haven't watched it, I encourage you to do it because in that video I cover a lot of different topics and I show you how to parse the information that you receive from the webhooks that WhatsApp send you. And basically here what we're going to do is we're going to simulate a couple of requests, and let's actually look here at my screen. I already have the WhatsApp application here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to send a message. I'm going to send hello. Well, actually you see here that I'm running ngrok. And by the way, in case you don't know what this tool is, this is something that I cover in the webhooks video, so it's very important that you watch it in case you want to use it. Although quite frankly, this is something that I'm actually using for illustrative purposes, only because I want to make it easier for you to read what we're getting from the API. But the truth is that you don't need this in order to follow along. So if I go here to WhatsApp and I open this conversation, you will see that here it says hello, and so that basically means that everything is working as expected. And what I am going to do now is I'm gonna try to send an image. Okay, so for example, if I send, it doesn't really matter which image, this one will do, so I'm going to send it, and you see that the image shows up here. Let's give it a second. Yeah, so you see that I got the message, I just received it. And what I want to show you here is that well, we got a notification from WhatsApp with the information about this file, and you see that here in the messages attribute it says that the type is image, and here you see that it says image and it has an ID. And this is actually something that I know that has caused a lot of confusion, and actually the reason why I'm recording this video is because a lot of you have asked us how to download the image that you received and how to use this ID to retrieve the information. And it's actually pretty simple, because with this ID we have to use what is called the media API, and you see here that in the documentation there are 4 different endpoints that we can use. And in this case, we're going to focus on this one, which is the retrieve media URL endpoint. And so you see here that it tells us that we have to create an endpoint, and we simply have to use this URL, and we have to replace this media ID with the ID that I just showed you. So as you can see here, I have a couple of different requests that I've been using for testing purposes, but I'm actually going to create a new one, and I'm going to call it get media ID, and I'm simply going to grab this URL, I'm gonna put it here, and I'm going to replace this media ID with this ID that we got here. Alright, and one thing that is super important is that in order to make this request, you have to make sure that you're actually passing the token, the access token that WhatsApp gave you. And so if I come here, I'm going to use this temporary access token, but I also have another video here in the channel in which I show you how to generate a permanent token that you won't have to refresh every time that you're going to make one of these requests. Alright, so I'm going to paste it here, and if I make the request, it works. It works just fine. And if you see here, you see that it gives us a URL. And I know that this is another point of confusion, and at least it certainly was for me. And I remember that the first time that I saw this URL, I simply grabbed it, and I thought that if I, for example, try to open this URL in my browser, I was going to be able to download this file. But the truth is that it's not as simple as that, because with this file, you actually have to use this URL, and you see that if I try to open it, well, it gives me an error. But if I pass the token, let's actually do this. Let's actually create a new request here, because I want to be able to pass my token, and I don't know, download media file, whatever. I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to make sure that I pass the same better token here in the URL, and voila, it works. It's as simple as that. And so you see that with this information, we are actually able to view the file. Now, one thing that I also want to show you is that if you want to download this file locally, you see that, well, in this case, you see the body, but this is actually a binary response. And in order to download this file, so for example, if I were to download this file and I want to have it here in my computer, you see that, well, there are actually different ways you can go about that. You can simply use here the code that it generates for you. So for example, if I were to use, I don't know, PHP curl, you see that it generates a request for me, and I simply have to grab this response and I have to store it in a local file. I'm actually going to show you how to do it here using curl. So pretty simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open here my terminal, and if I paste this command, you see that, well, you see that it is complaining that it's saying that binary output can mess up your terminal. So what I'm going to do instead is, well, hang on, looks like I made a mess here. So let me paste this again, and I don't know if this is gonna work. I think it will. I don't know what I pasted. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to redirect the output of this request, and I'm going to put it, let's say that I want to store it in this file, wasapi.jpg. I'm sorry, it looks like I messed up this command, so let's clear this up. Let's paste this again, wasapi.jpg. So you see that it does work. And now if I come here to my home folder, you see that I was actually able to download the file, so it works just fine. Alright, I hope this video was really useful, and I hope that you're able to use this information, because I know that it can be quite confusing at times to use the WhatsApp API, but hopefully this will make things a lot easier for you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, to subscribe on the channel, and to also click on the bell icon to get a notification when I upload a new video. Thank you for your time, and till the next time.